Today, Margot, Maggie's foal, was adopted by Miss Gracie, and they are two peas in a pod. And I just wanted to show this video before we get into how we did it, how long it took. I wanted to show y'all that it's been successful, which I'm so grateful for, just to take a little bit of the nerves off. Gracie, my 18-year-old recent mare, she's had 3 foals, was only able to raise 2 of them, as one of them was baby 7, if you remember him. And so this has been spectacular. She has been a trooper. She has absolutely fallen in love with Margot from the very get-go. Her milk came in a couple of days ago, finally, and we didn't want to waste any time. And Margot did take some convincing, but I'll get into that later. So here's footage from earlier today with a little voiceover. The first thing we did was we gave Gracie a mixture of oxytocin and Lutalized, which caused her to sweat and cramp. I know it's so uncomfortable at first, but it really is the best way to ensure success in grafting a foal onto a mom who is not actively nursing a foal at that time. And so we then used this towel, got it drenched in Gracie's sweat, put it all over Margot, and then we took little Margot over to the stall. Now, I will say, we did talk with a couple of nurse mare farms. I will not name names, okay? Because I don't want anyone being incriminated, because we called not telling them who we were. We weren't like, hey, I'm Kitty Van's like, yeah, like we would just call being like, hey, we have a mare that we're hoping can be a nurse mare. Like, you know, I understand that you have a business, but can you please give us any direction? One place was so nasty and like, how dare you not pay us thousands of dollars for our mare? And then the other was so helpful, just wanted our baby to be, you know, loved by a mama and helped. And so they were so helpful. And that is how we got Gracie into milk finally, because the regime that we were doing was not really working. But then once we used the kind of like cocktail that they suggested, it immediately worked. And so anyway, she came into milk a couple of days ago. We didn't want to waste time. And so we asked the vet to come today to help facilitate this. Gracie, being the freaking saint that she is, immediately was like, oh, this is my baby. This is my baby. And, you know, I don't know why I was surprised that Margot was the problem, because Gracie was like, I have milk, I have love, I have licks. Margot was like, you're not my mom, and got so upset. Not really like, you know, whinnying for her mom. More so she was like, you don't smell like my mom. Your milk doesn't taste like my mom's. So she was the skeptical one. Gracie was immediately like, yep, I'm your mother now. I will take care of you. I will protect you. She got protective immediately. She, you know, just went into mom mode, as she is a phenomenal mama. And so she was, you know, nickering and licking, and Margot just kind of took her time sniffing, and she did kind of attempt to nurse a couple of times, and then she got real mad. Like you'll see here, she throws a tantrum. I think this was when she tried to nurse a couple of times and realized that Gracie did not have the dairy cow udder that her mom Maggie has, and she was like, this is BS. I will not stand for this. And she did have a little bit of a temper tantrum, and Gracie was like the saint of the year. She was like, that's fine, I still love you. And then Maggie immediately gave her dinner, and she was like, okay, that's fine, I'll eat some food. So she had her Beamer little booties on her feet. We went to lasering her back because we could finally take her belly band off, and she, like, unfortunately over the last couple of days started getting this wound from her belly band on her back. And so we had to, you know, address that. And so we were lasering it while we were giving her some time off with her belly band. So yeah, they were right next to each other for a little while. Gracie again just went to licking, went to loving, and you can see here that Margot was like resisting. Like she didn't want to like it, but she was also resisting the urge to like start biting the wall. Like it felt good. She was like, oh, this is my mom, she's licking my butt, I'm supposed to respond in a good way. And then she ate. I think it took about an hour and a half for her to finally give in, because Margot has never known hunger in her life. She has never been without a dairy cow at her disposal, because Maggie just has like the best udder ever, you know. And so she finally gave in and started nursing, and it was the most beautiful thing ever. And we did actually have to move Maggie just because she was nickering a little bit, but. So now she's eating on Gracie. Gracie has been protective. Like when the other mamas walk in and out, she's like pinning her ears at them. She's nickering to her. I have noticed Margot still isn't quite as settled as I think that she will become. I haven't really noticed her nap a lot yet, but as of tomorrow, if everything is going the way it is and maybe even a little better, we might take them to the arena, because I think, you know, Gracie being allowed to parent her in a bigger area, and Gracie's like a helicopter mom, I think that will solidify the bond even better. So stay tuned for all of that. Miss Maggie will hop down here and go check on her now. So Maggie is eating her mash right now. Honestly, other than being displaced from her stall, that was kind of what upset her the most. We had to kind of redo how we had her belly band because she was getting a sore on her back. So we're using actually one of my old riding pads that has like a cutout in the middle. So that's one of the worries we have now, because we're trying to take pressure off of her back. We're hoping that without the baby eating on her and her draining, I mean, she's dripping milk right now. We're keeping an eye on her udder just to, you know, hopefully prevent mastitis. And yeah, she has done beautifully. Barely any issues being separated from Margot. I think that kind of proves that she was just mentally done. Like, she was letting Margot eat, and I'm sure she does love Margot, but she is in survival mode, and we want to help Maggie survive, you know? And so she's down here eating. She's got her fan. She's got all the hay and alfalfa she could ever want. We're going to continue to monitor her. She's in a stall with a camera just to make sure she doesn't get, you know, cast from rolling and things like that. So Maggie's doing great. She has really not fretted. She called maybe once or twice. After that, all has been well. Now we all sigh in relief. If you noticed my shirt, it's a little sad because we had this made when they first came home, and before we realized that Maggie was becoming laminitic, and before we kind of realized that we needed a nurse mare, we had this made of Miss Maggie and Margot. So we did make that available. I'm not sure how long we're going to have it available, but it is on my site, katievanslyke.net. So again, I'm a little sad about it just because we had it made before we knew kind of all the things that were going to transpire. But I'm so grateful, and I think this is going to be for the best. So stay tuned for more updates.